Hello, how are you? Welcome again to the Nubian King channel. Welcome, glad to have you here. I'm excited you came back. For those that are first time listeners, viewers of my channel, I want to say thank you for showing up. Hope you find something very inspiring and interesting over here listening to the dialogue of the Nubian King from Israel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button before we get started and the like button. A few people have been looking for me, got messages that they're enjoying my commentary. Thank you so much. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. So when I put these videos up, you can see the videos and that like that. I'm Nubian King, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, but have lived in West Africa, East Africa, Israel, been out of America for over 40 years. I've been in Israel, Gamani Medaber Ivrit, and I speak Hebrew. So, what I want to speak to you about today, the spiritual revelation that I'm seeing take place with this Kanye West and Kyrie Irving incredible earth-shaking spiritual bomb they've dropped. And this is all spirit. My position is being the spiritual watchman that I tend to look into the greater spiritual meaning, ramification on that level, because we have so many great brothers and sisters that are doing an absolute excellent job in disseminating the facts. They stand on top of the news reports, the press release, whatever, the events centered around this, and they're doing an excellent job of reporting it. I listened to a brother today on the way in to work, and he shared this statement that Kyrie Irving had made, that he has an army. And then the other brother, Shannon Sharp, was like, where they at? Where the army, And kaboom, out there in New York. But wow. I don't know if you all seen it, but those brothers showed up. And I don't know personally. I'm just going to kind of step out on the limb and say that somebody in that Hebrew organization may have heard Kyrie state, I have an army. And for however it came about, I know it came about based upon the spiritual manifestation that's taking place now with our people. That's factual. Because this is one spirit. This is bigger than Kanye, bigger than Kyrie, bigger than the team, the basketball, and the money. This is a spiritual awakening of our people. All right? And so when the brother said, I have an army, you never know. He may have been spirited talking about like in the Bible, because he's studying. He could have been talking about army of angels, right? It could have been. I'm just I'm sharing thoughts, just like maybe you probably had thoughts too, right? Okay, so he may have been talking about an army of the Lord, army of angels. But then remember now, what is the definition of angel? A messenger, one who bring, a message. Like, okay, so the angel of the Lord appeared before me. The way they make it, they make it kind of spooky. Like, ooh. And then how they made the image of angel, some white person in a white dress with white wings floating around, strumming a harp. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was referring to that type of angel. But an angel is a messenger. Okay? We hear about angels in the Bible. Nevertheless, mainstream media did not carry what happened after that. It had to be, I'm just speculating, it might have been several thousand brothers and sisters out there for the They gathered together out there in the heart of New York, right outside that center. You know, was it the Barclay Center? Oh, I forgot the name of it. But they showed up. Black men, strong, powerful, highly organized, military precision. And it scared the pants off these heathens. Why? Because that is the one major thing that they have worked 24/7 tirelessly to keep from taking place among black men, is black unity. Yep, that's it. That's why you did not see any of that on your mainstream media being covered. They can show you brothers and sisters getting shot down by the police, brothers and sisters banged up, brothers and sisters going to jail, brothers and sisters in that negative light. All they're going to show you are bad things concerning us and black men. You know, they'll put a mug shot of a brother up looking like, oh, I be damned. Like you don't know what combing your hair ever meant. And then right behind that, you know, they'll say, well, you know, he's all kind of stuff. And it don't necessarily have to be true. This is a narrative they've been spinning since the first brother taking off the boat. Hollywood has been a great, you know, perpetuator a negative stereotype about black men. Okay? But the unity and the order that those brothers showed out there in New York, unprecedented. They didn't have no guns. They went out making no, you know, big national TV report calls. They news media not gonna show nothing like this. And then when I saw them brothers, I thought about the group InFact. They showed a lot of footage on InFact, right? They interviewed with the leader, right? Master J. John Fitzgerald of InFact. They interviewed him several times. Went out there with the cameras and did a whole big deal on him. Let him talk, explain the situation. But here with these Hebrew brothers, they never did that. They tell you that they're a terrorist group. But you ain't never seen no Hebrew brothers go out and do what these white guys do, shoot up malls and shoot up people and shoot up gay bars and all that. There ain't no black folks doing that. Black folks don't do that. We ain't interested in that. But when the brothers came together to support Kyrie by the hundreds, maybe thousands, highly organized, disciplined, they didn't put that on the TV 1 minute. Why? Because media have a lot of influence on the way you think. And if one brother, two brothers, 10 brothers see all of them brothers come out there like that, you know how we are. We don't want to get left out. We want to be a part of what's happening. And so that powerful unity would inspire other brothers to act right. And sisters. Because the sisters waiting on us. You know, I understand, you know, sisters, they gotta look at the babies. They gotta look at, you know, the woman, she's, you know, the sister, she is created with that gift of nurturing, motherly love, looking out for the family. And so if the brothers right now can't provide it, but Billy can, and you got some sisters just go to hunker down and roll with Billy because he can, you know, financially and materialistically food, clothing, shelter her and the children. But deep down in her organic Nubian spiritual soul, she want me, Avisur, the brother. You understand? But Avisur, he fighting a fight that they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't hear Avisur complaining. You don't hear the Nubian king complaining about what they doing. Y'all don't have a clue as to what I'm really going through on the other side up here in Israel. Because I ain't never told you. Because we don't get out like that. Strong brothers, man, we be dealing with all kind of crap. But we ain't going to say nothing. Because basically, up until now, ain't nobody really give a crap about the black man. Because y'all been convinced we the worst people in the world. Because of their media. They didn't show you all them brothers gathered out there supporting the brother. And see, that's why I'm telling you, this is not your normal, regular situation where in a couple of weeks, you ain't gonna hear nothing else about it. It's gonna be over with. As I mentioned to you before, this is a fire, a spiritual burning that has awakened our people to the knowledge of who we are. And when our people spiritually rooted in truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of who we are as a people, man, you can't take that away from us. Okay, they was able to get us. They bopped us over the head and they got us in the beginning. And what they've done for all these years was continue to do the same thing that has worked for them, and that is to, control our thought process through the different mechanisms that they have established. And so, they haven't had to upgrade it, revise it, tweak it. Only thing they had to do was keep doing the same thing. And so this is why I say now this is beautiful, because why? Something is taking place amongst black men that they haven't seen before. And this is based upon spirituality. Now, the reason why you don't see them riding up on Kanye West like they doing the young brother is Kanye is too powerful for them. And Kanye said the statement that made them run like raids on roaches. I don't know if y'all old enough, but back in the day, that was a bug spray called Raid, R-A-I-D. And it was at the time in America, the number 1 roach spray. And they had another one called Hot Shot, but that's so way back there. You can't remember that. But I don't know. I think, yeah, they still selling Raid, because I saw it in some stores over here in Israel. But anyway, the statement that Kanye made that made them bandits run away from him like Raid on roaches, he said, "I am not afraid anymore." 5 words. Boom, they gone. Why? Because it has been fear, the spirit of fear, that they've been able to govern this strong, powerful nation. Fear, right? Y'all know, and you should know already by now, because you probably heard it many times. Back in the slavery, chattel slavery, they would take the strongest, most respected brother amongst all the slaves, bring him out and bring all the slaves out and watch them beat this brother to within an inch of his life. Then tie him up, tar and feather, and tie him up between 2 horses and rip him apart in front of the people. And what that do to the people, it put fear in them that caused them to not challenge the slave owner authority. Like, don't you do that, because the same thing happened to him would be the same thing happen to you. And they see that. They remember the brother hollering and screaming and crying out in pain and watching that happen. So, dude, didn't nobody challenge that guy. 1 white dude with 200 slaves, and they all feared him. And it is based upon fear, the spirit of fear, that overcome people to cause them to be mental paralyzed. Like, you could be so afraid you run into mentally paralysis, where you just so overwhelmed with fear, you don't know what to do. You mentally, in your mind, you become paralyzed. You see what's happening, you see what's taking place, and you're so afraid, you just don't do nothing. And that has been the way this bandit has controlled millions and millions of black people the world over, through fear. And what is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real. They just all lies. It ain't even true what they doing. It ain't even true what they saying. It ain't even true. But because you don't know no difference, bam, they got you. And that's why I'm saying this is a beautiful spiritual season, because those days are over. No more got me, getting me, I got you because you dumb and ignorant because you don't know who you are. That's over with. See, this spiritual energy that's moving across the face of the water is bringing these dry bones to life. The water are the people. And the spiritual energy is taking place is based upon knowledge, knowing yourself. Okay? That's what's taking place. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the ability to hear truth and do truth. So when you're a spiritual person, you have the ability to hear what is true, what is right, and know the difference between what's wrong, and the ability to just do it. And so when the brother said, man, I got an army, then you had Shannon Sharp, you know, he kind of like ridiculed and made joker, where your army at? Where they at? Where they at? Next thing you know, you got a multitude of brothers standing out there in purple marching in New York. TV didn't show that. And see, that's the same technique they used back in slavery to govern and control 200 slaves. Has been the same technique they used for hundreds of years, fear. And so now, ain't nothing changed. Don't you dare think that slavery is over with. No good businessman ends good business that's making good money. Slavery was an excellent business for these guys. Same jokers sitting over here with me. Great business for them. So why would they change it when they made so much money off of it and built this country and other things? And they gonna change that? No. They changed the way it operates. Updated for the new day, but the same fundamental principle stays the same. Why? It worked. And so if it's been fear that they controlled the slaves, and then today I was listening to this white boy talking on this interview, and he was talking about Kyrie Irving, and then he called the Chinese owner of the team, he said Kyrie's owner. He said, well, we see the different stipulations from his owner. And they replayed that over and over again from his owner, you know, stipulation from his owner. And the brother's like, what the hell you mean his owner? You see how they think? Kyrie's owner. Not the owner of the team, but he said Kyrie's owner. As if Kyrie still is a slave, and yes, and the rest of them, and most of us, because we're in a system. And so how is it that you can be a slave with a multi-million-dollar mansion and millions of dollars in the bank, sharp cars? How many black brothers and sisters own NBA teams or NFL teams? You know, we got investors and partners, but I'm talking about straight up owners. You follow what I'm saying? There you go. Most of them are owned by people from this country. You didn't know? And so they are using the same fundamental technique, fear. Even though they changed it. Now the slave cabin ain't out there in the back with no running water, no electricity, just a bunch of raggedy boards put up. The slave shack nowadays is them beautiful multi-million-dollar mansions that you still sitting on their land, that you still got to depend on their food coming to you, that you're still driving their wagons in transportation, better known as Rolls Royce and Ferraris. You see, the fundamental essence of the business haven't changed. It's the aesthetics of the business that have changed, the way it looks. No more tying and hanging brothers up, you know, beating sister to the tree. They changed the way they do it. So now it's like, I got me a tough slave. With this, what you gonna have to do, bend over. Apologize to me, bow down. You know, take some sensitivity training. Huh? Go to the Babula. Go to the museum. Huh? Same thing. And then just like the owner, the Chinese guy, I mean, he really going overkill on this situation. Y'all been watching that? But Kyrie said, I got an army. And next thing you know, all them brothers showed up out there. And unity is strength. Unity in the brothers is strength in the land. Good googly boo. So it's a beautiful season to see the spiritual awakening of the original African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem awakening up to the knowledge of self. Many of our people are coming into the knowledge of self. Malvul. יותר יפה. כן. אהה. 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 כן. מבול. כן. Okay. Shukran. Yeah, I was sitting with the some of the Palestinians today. We was drinking our coffee this morning. They was teaching me another word. You know, I like to be able to speak these different languages. I was working with the Chinese. I was learning Chinese. I was working with the Palestinians. I was learning Arabic. You know what I'm saying? The Russian, learning Russian. You understand? In Hebrew, I speak that fluent, you know. And so it's just a nice cultural thing to be able to articulate these different languages. And it also keep your brain sharp too. So what I was speaking about is the spiritual awakening of the black man and woman is an incredibly beautiful thing. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. It feels good. Because once we get to a certain state of consciousness, a significant amount of our people are going to come back to self-knowledge and self-awareness. Now, there's going to be a lot of brothers and sisters, they're going to stay out there in them shacks that cost $10 million. Those slave shacks nowadays cost $10 million. And the wagon, you know, they not bouncing around that. They rolling in Rolls Royce wagons, Ferrari wagons. But just like the guy said, Kyrie's owner, that ain't changed. You see the aesthetics, that means the aesthetics, the way it looked, the way slavery looked is beautiful. Like you want to be in a slave shack nowadays because the slave shack nowadays costs 10, 15, 20 million dollars. Yeah, you want that shack. You know what I'm saying? And then the wagons now, $300-400 million Rolls Royce, $700,000 sports car, them nice wagons. But the slave owner is still owning the plantation, the land, and everything. And just like they trying to do to the brother, make him beg and buy and all this here, you know what? I'm going to just prophesize this. And this came to me a couple days ago. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie tell him, fuck you, I ain't doing nothing. Okay, yeah, he done apologize. That's yeah, whatever. But for I'm just telling you, man, I kind of feel like they gonna get the brothers where he say fuck you. And your ball and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna move beyond the money. The only thing they got to fight with is the fear of losing the money. And that's why these other guys is speaking so strategically. Because they know the bandit will cut them off. And they don't want to lose that. So they would rather give the brother up and turn us all in to maintain the key to their shack. They 10, 25, 20, whatever $1 million shacks they laid up in. They would rather send us all up the river so he can keep them fancy slave shacks. Yeah. So it's a great spiritual awakening. I'm glad to be here to see it. But even beyond that, I'm glad to be able to understand it. Wow. Just think if I didn't understand it. I could be like Shannon Sharpe, or I could be like Shaq, or I could be like Charles Barkley, or one of them other, knuckleheads. Huh? I could be like that, not understanding it. And then, when it all said and done, they're gonna be sitting out there looking stupid, and everybody gonna know, nah, dog, nah, y'all going back over there, have your own barbecue. You can't come to the big one where everybody at. Okay, that's it. I don't need to hold y'all any longer. But it's a great spiritual awakening taking place amongst our people. Kanye West, he struck the match by making a statement. I'm going DEFCON 3. The embers of the fire bounced over on Kyrie. Kyrie pointed everybody to the book. And I've been reading the book every day. Can't even put it down. As soon as I say shalom, goodbye to y'all, I'm getting back to reading. But anyway, I had a great time speaking to you about the spiritual ramification that I see that's taking place, the spiritual manifestation of the knowledge of self. Spiritually, we coming back together to know who we are. And it is an absolute wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. All these relationship problems we've had between the brothers and sisters is going to be wiped away. Because as you come back into the knowledge of who you are, King, you ain't going to be able to walk around with your pants hanging down on your butt and your underwear showing, holding yourself in the crouch. As you come back in the knowledge of self, Queen, you ain't going to be able to be called bitch and hoe. And you know what I'm saying? Walk around with pink hair, blue hair, green hair, turquoise hair, brown hair, maroon hair, orange hair, white hair. You're going to be able to be proud of that the creator of the heavens and the earth bless you with, that all the other women in the world want to be like you. And then as we continue to grow in self-knowledge and self-awareness, then we'll be restored back into our power. And that's another whole dissertation I'm tell you about, our power. And see, these bandits know that. They saw it hundreds of years. And I took a course, I studied at DeVry Institute of Technology, and a group of Chinese came over and had a lecture with the student. And I never forget this Chinese lecturer mentioned in one of his lectures that what black people went through as slaves, he says, no way Chinese would have went through that. He said, no way. He said, Chinese people are not strong enough to have endured the hardship of that experience. He said they either would have killed themselves or the experience would have killed them. I'm like, now what the hell that got to do with electronics? I don't even know how he got on that subject, but all these years later, I remember him saying that. Isn't that something? And so here we are today witnessing one of the greatest events in modern time, the spiritual awakening of the black man and black woman starting in America and spread around the world. Good googly boo. Woo! They didn't do none of that march out there, and it wasn't even a protest. Them brothers didn't go out there with a sign hollering and screaming, protesting. They came out there in massive numbers to support our brother Kyrie Irving. And that is what these heathens never wanted us to get to. The spiritual awareness of who we are as a people. These real kings and real queens. The real kings and real queens. The real kings and the real queens. And you know, I say these things because I love you. I do. I love you. From the basement of my heart to the attic of my mind. I love you 24/7. That means I love you all the time. Shalom, shalom.